Rink Wide Vancouver. Pre-game, post-game, every game. Presented by Bodog. From sports odds to free casino games, make a play at bodog.net. Wadden and JPat here with you with another edition of the pre-game show as the Canucks get set to face the Pittsburgh Penguins. And whoa, you hear that, JPat? That's everybody exhaling in the city as the Canucks got their first W of the year last night against the Kraken. However, Sid the Kid now and the Penguins coming into town, and they might be a little pissed off considering how things went in Alberta.
Yeah, they've had a couple of days to stew on those losses back-to-back to the Oilers and to the Flames. But, of course, the Canucks, they're trying to put a win streak together now, and you can't do that without the first one. They accomplished that in Seattle. It wasn't pretty, but at the end of the night, it is a win. It's in the win column. They've got 2 more points, but they're going to have to be a whole lot better than they were against the Kraken, and they know that. I'm sure they know that. The question is, can they be a whole lot better? And what will the Penguins have to offer in the way of the resistance? Because let's get this out of the way. We all remember what happened the last time the Pittsburgh Penguins were in Vancouver, December the 4th of last year. Organizational house cleaning, the dynamite came out, and they blew things apart. And so the Canucks don't want any part of that. I don't think the fallout would be the same, but one win isn't enough for the Vancouver Canucks. They need a bunch of them here. And so, I don't think that it's completely out of the realm of possibility that there would be more changes coming if the Canucks were to be beaten badly by the Pittsburgh Penguins. But let's give them a chance. Back-to-back is never easy. And as we touched on our post-game podcast after the Seattle game, Oliver Ekman-Larsson playing close to 28 minutes. Now he's going to have to be one of the matchup guys against either Crosby or Malkin, or sometimes both. And Bo Horvat playing upwards of 24 minutes. What's he going to have left in the tank, especially if they ask him to play some sort of shutdown matchup role as well? So those are certainly some of the things that I'm going to be watching here. But we don't even know who the Canucks are going to be defending in front of, whether they're going to come right back with Thatcher Demko on back-to-back nights, or do they throw Spencer Martin to the Penguins?
Yeah, it's Sidney Crosby's 10th NHL game in Vancouver. And of course, you remember what happened in the Olympics, the golden goal, 19 points in 19 games against the Canucks all time. But, Sidney's going to want to come in here and just get that W. I'm sure he's concerned about getting points for himself. He needs a win right now, especially the way things have gone through Alberta.
Yeah, the Penguins got off to a decent start. They are 4-2-1, so we don't have to feel too badly for them, but those 2 regulation losses in their last 2 games. So they don't want that streak to extend. I think they see this as an opportunity. Again, they've been in Vancouver. They've been practicing here. The Canucks had to go to Seattle, and now it's back-to-back for the Vancouver Canucks. So it does feel like an opportunity for the Penguins to pounce, and they're led by Sid. Not the kid anymore, 35 years of age, but he is their leader on the ice, on the stat sheet as well. 4 goals and 7 assists, so he's got 11 points to lead the way. Evgeny Malkin with 4 goals as well. And we'll see. I mean, those guys can be a handful for anybody, but certainly an undermanned Vancouver Canucks defense corps. We'll see how they fare trying to keep Sid under wraps in this hockey game. Now, the Canucks do get a bit of a break here, and the Canucks obviously have injuries of their own, but it doesn't sound like Jake Guentzel is going to play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's the modern-day Canuck killer. This guy has 12 goals in the 10 NHL games that he's played against the Vancouver Canucks. So, doesn't sound like Jake Guentzel's going to be in there. Crosby on a line with Ricard Raquel on one side and Brian Rust on the other. Malkin centers a line with Danton Heinen, Langley's Danton Heinen, and Jeff Carter on the other side. And that's sort of the top 6, the way the Penguins roll things out. So that'll be the challenge for this Vancouver Canuck team, again, that needs to up its game when it comes to spending less time in its own zone, more time on the attack.
Special teams certainly will be a factor, or should be a factor at least, between these 2 teams tonight. The Canucks power play has been clicking for them as of late, but Pittsburgh Penguins has as well, 11th in the league right now. So that brings me to my Bodog best bet. I'm looking at Elias Pettersson and Sidney Crosby over 0.5 power play points tonight. Boy, look at that value, plus 430. Run to Bodog right now and place that bet.
Well, bounce back game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This could be a bounce back game for you as well. We talked about last night in Seattle. You thought it was going to go over overtime. It certainly had that feel, but in the end, the Canucks pull it out in regulation time. So you didn't hit on your best bet last night, but I like this one because the Canucks power play, as you said, 3 for its last 5. It was 2 for 2 in Seattle last night. So the power play is starting to show some signs of life here. And so much of the offense flows through Elias Pettersson with 9 points in the 8 games that he has played. He had a couple of points last night, and in fact had a power play assist on that Kuzmenko goal when he made the play against the wall, got the puck to JT Miller, and Miller found Kuzmenko in front of the net. So hard to bet against Sidney Crosby at any time. Elias Pettersson as well. yeah, it kind of has the feel that special teams may play a role in the outcome of this hockey game. We should mention as well, because we talked about it on yesterday's pregame show, Jordan Eberle needed 1 assist to get to 600 points in the NHL. He got it. Sidney Crosby sitting at 899 career helpers. So another milestone just sitting there waiting, and won't be surprised if Sid the Kid skates out of Rogers Arena with that 900th NHL assist.
Oh, there you go. It's in the cards right there. It's going to happen tonight for Sidney Crosby. So like I said, run to Bodog right now and place that bet. Okay, JPat, the Canucks finally got a W now. They can exhale a little bit, but at the same time, really not out of the woods just yet. Who do you think tonight from the Canucks needs to do something?
Well, again, I'm a little concerned about their energy supplies here. So I'm kind of looking at an energy guy that perhaps can set the tone, step up. Connor Garland scored the long empty netter last night, his 3rd goal of the season in just 8 games. If he scores 3 goals every 8 games, some simple math, he'll have 30 goals in 80 games. And so he's off to a nice start. And yeah, I know last night was an empty netter, but they all count. And just in terms of him feeling it, but he's a guy that can bring energy. We know that he's hard to play against. He's got that motor running. He's getting an opportunity to play on a pretty good line with Bo Horvat and JT Miller, if Miller is okay after blocking that shot at the final buzzer with his ankle. So that's another storyline certainly to keep in mind. But I just kind of feel that we saw last night, they leaned so heavily on a handful of players. I don't think that Bruce Boudreau is going to have that luxury. He's going to have to extend his bench. And I just wonder if a guy like Connor Garland sees a little bit more ice time, gets in there, sort of gets under the skin of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and maybe drags the Vancouver Canucks into the fight. He's certainly capable of it. That's the role that he relishes. And so I'm thinking that Connor Garland is my do-something guy for the Vancouver Canucks against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
All right, so they got one under their belt. Now let's see if the Canucks can go streaking tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, we'll have the post-game pod available for you as quick as we can after the final horn, available on where you get your favorite podcasts. All right, JPat, should be a good one tonight. Always a good one with Sid and Gino in town. Looking forward to it. Rogers Arena going to be rocking on a Friday night. This has been another edition of the Rink Wide Vancouver podcast presented by Bodog. For Jeff Patterson, I'm Andrew Wadden. Remember, Rink Wide is the show and always score.